Go. Okay, I'm good. I'm on here. Okay, guys, sorry about that. We're doing coverage in an area I wasn't expecting us to ever really have to do coverage, and if anybody who comes in, I shared on my personal page, we're doing live storm coverage in Connecticut. For those who don't know, I'm born and raised in the state of Connecticut, just to the south here in Rocky Hill, and we're getting a pretty monster storm right now. Tornado warned, big time hail falling right now across north central Connecticut. This is between Springfield, Massachusetts and Hartford, Connecticut, the pretty wealthy suburbs in Connecticut here. So we have quite a bit to go over here. Sorry I didn't have my mic on right away. I was running up and downstairs and everything. Try not to get stuff going. So right now we have, the warning is for tennis ball size hail. This is in, let's see here. This is in Simsbury, Connecticut, and Simsbury and Granby, Connecticut. It is moving to the south and east towards Windsor Locks, towards Enfield and Windsor. This is all a whole area, the whole Connecticut River Valley, pretty densely populated. Quite a few houses in this area here, moving in right now. Right here, man, god dang, right here. This was probably easily baseball-sized hail coming down across parts of North Granby and Salmon Brook, and I think it's partially Suffield as well. Right under the little notch where Connecticut and Massachusetts kind of meet together like a puzzle piece right in here. Big time hail happening there, and the hail continues. Quite a bit of rotation on here. I know some of you guys are wondering about tornado warning in effect. If you're watching this right now and you're watching it and you're watching my coverage, go back to either NBC, ABC, or CBS's live coverage. If you're in Connecticut and you're watching and wondering about a tornado, if you are north of Windsor, for sure, get yourself onto real coverage here for a tornado. I'm not covering the tornado too much, I'm covering big time hail. Okay. So this is what we got going on. Again, a pretty big storm, and the big noteworthy thing is that this is an area that does not see super big hail very often. So if we go back, I'm going to zoom out, I'm going to do an overall view here. So we already have a reported 2-inch hail a little bit earlier, and this is in East Hartland. And now again, this is moving towards Windsor Locks, towards Windsor. Again, this whole area is north of Hartford, right by the international airports and Windsor Locks. That is going to be where it's going to be moving through pretty soon here. I roll things back. We weren't able to do live coverage earlier, but these storms fired across the Hudson Valley here in New York. I can't pronounce the name of this town to save my life. Saugerties, maybe, New York. About 20,000 people there. They had 2-inch hail, and followed by baseball-sized hail. This storm rocketed to the east. Big-time hail. Now the storms are in Connecticut. Most of these storms moving into Connecticut now, they're becoming more of a wind threat than hail threat. The main hail threat, though, again, is going to be right here, moving in towards Windsor Locks, towards south, towards Simsbury, and into Enfield, Connecticut. I'm telling anybody in Connecticut who is watching, they're wondering about tornado coverage. I'm not doing tornado coverage. That's why I said go watch your local news channels on local networks. To watch that. If you guys are, most of my audience here are watching as roofers, then, you know, obviously continuing coverage happens here. What? That's fine. Just send them to, I don't know, Mass in New York, I guess. Sure, Derek just forgot to. All right. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to move on to velocities here. Trying to see if there's any. Rotation is going to be down here by Tariffville and Simsbury. Oh, there's Simsbury, so in Tariffville. So right in here, this is where the rotation is going to be. That's where a lot of strong winds are. Hail's up further to the north here. Storm's moving pretty quick too. We're going about. It'll be you got hail probably starting to fall here in Suffield and far northern sections of Windsor Locks. And we're going to just kind of wait and see how strong the storm continues going on. What? Hail covering the ground. Yeah, so we got a core report coming in. Well, back in this area for sure, right here. This area just got blasted. And now since moving through, we'll have to see how this pans out. So basically what we have going on here is we have a supercell. This supercell right here is staying just ahead of the line. So it keeps kind of fluctuating in strength. So for a little while it wasn't super strong. It really blasted up there for a little bit. Right now it seems to still be holding on to its strength as it's continuing to move towards Windsor Locks and Enfield, Connecticut. Here's Massachusetts, going just south of the border here. So probably no hail in Massachusetts, but then big hail in Connecticut here. Wind gusts, asked Jeremiah. I'm sure probably, I know there's a lot of power outages in Winstead when this storm moved through, so it's got to be at least 60 on this. We'll have to see as this continues to come through. But again, we're watching. As this is moving through central Connecticut, it's getting close to the Connecticut River. Again, the population in this area is a lot denser. Even knowing it's not some major city like New York, it's still, this whole area all the way up and down I-91 is pretty densely populated here. Further to the west, other areas that we're looking at, Litchfield County, these storms, the hail is beginning to wind down, turning into a wind threat. We'll see how, if this can organize into a big wind event. Oh man, what is this? This is all beginning to organize to wind threat. So if you're wondering about New York City, the suburbs of New York City, probably going to be almost no hail, but for sure there's going to be some strong winds as this moves through. And let's see, where else? What's we got going on here? The warnings haven't updated yet or anything. Elsewhere across the country, we have, again, this line of storms is moving all the way down towards Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. All this, the hail in this is going to be pretty spotty. Man, boy, I stand under the light a certain way. My green screen gets all jacked up. This is all going to just be strong winds, maybe some marginally severe hail, and then a spin-up tornado here or there. So the hail threat right now is focused in on this one storm in north central Connecticut. And we also have had a couple little storms here in Oklahoma a little earlier. I mapped a storm between Pauls Valley and Sulphur. Had strong winds, upwards of 65 miles an hour, hit there, and some $1.25 to $1.5 size hail. And we had some quarter-size hail on the far western outskirts of McAlester, Oklahoma. We're watching as storms are beginning to form. I know a lot of you guys are asking, people are asking us about these storms here in Texas. They're not only are they not really moving, they're not much in the way of a big hail producer, maybe a couple little circles of quarter-size hail basically, but for the most part, this is going to be stationary, nearly stationary sub-severe hail. Dallas area isn't going to have too much to really be concerned about. I know you guys are, especially if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you're looking off to your west, you're seeing big towers, getting excited. Not much going on there. It's probably just going to be staying near west. Let's see. Looking elsewhere, haven't had a chance to look too much. We have some storms in New Mexico. These are very rural, so not a big deal. And we'll see if anything can form further north here in Denver or Colorado Springs. And, okay, yeah, they just extended some couple warnings on these storms here in South Texas. And, oh wow, they got ping pong balls all the way up there. Says ping pong balls in Southwick, Massachusetts. Alright, so storm now looks like it might be cycling again. You can see as the hook, let me roll the radar back a little bit. Yeah, the hook, nice and out, and now it's kind of going back in. Hail markers are going down a little bit. We're going to kind of see, we're going to have to wait and see, is the big hail going to tone down as we go across the Connecticut River, or is it going to ramp back up again as it continues moving east? I was wondering about tornado risk. Yeah, tornado risk isn't really there right now. I think it's just mostly hail. Again, this is Windsor Locks. So the airport, right now, the centers, where the circulation would be over the Bradley International Airport in Connecticut right now, in Windsor Locks, and the area just north of that, Suffield, and then Thompsonville, Enfield, Everything Field here in northern Connecticut. You're getting hail right now. Probably not as big as it had been, maybe closer to ping pong ball size hail with that. And hopefully I didn't kill the storm going live just now. But let's see what else we have going on here. Storms over by Newburgh. But again, this map is already a solid 3-star map. Quite a bit of big hail from the Hudson Valley all the way going into the Connecticut state border. Again, up to 2-inch hail up in here. These are some nice areas. Granby is a nice area. So, real old, and for roofers' sake, all really old roofs, they don't get hail very often. In the 22 years I lived in Connecticut, not one second of hailstorm in my hometown, so we got really old roofs. Doesn't take much damage, guys. So you may not be getting super psyched about this, but you can definitely get some work out of this area. Ryan is asking anything in Massachusetts. Only in Southwick, in Massachusetts. So the section where probably it was right here, where the storm kind of split off a little bit. You see that right in here. You have, as it moved through, that's probably where the ping pong ball size hail was. So it went through just that one tiny little part of Connecticut that kind of does the little puzzle piece look going into the tiny part of Massachusetts. I mean, that's like the puzzle piece into Connecticut. That's Southwick that had some ping pong ball size hail. Since then, now the storm does not look as impressive as it did before. We'll have to see if it can continue its little journey here of strengthening, or if it's going to weaken and kind of die off and turn into a much more of a wind threat. The wind threat is definitely increasing significantly now, however, across the Northeast. So we'll just have to see how it goes. All right, so St. Louis is here, and St. Louis, you're not seeing any hail today, unfortunately. Other storms that we had happen earlier, we had a couple storms with some quarter-size hail by Roanoke, Virginia. Actually, I think in Roanoke a little bit there. Yeah, some quarter-size hail. Other popcorn storms across the southeast, these are mostly not going to be anything of significance. Again, people might be wondering in the Dallas area, if you look off to the west, you see some big storms. They are not moving, and very marginally severe, maybe a little pocket of quarter-size hail. And again, the storm isn't moving at all. So if it's just hailing over a hilly pasture in hill country of Texas, then that's just what it's going to do. We're seeing some storm. We have a storm over by Big Spring, Texas. We're going to see more storms probably form in here in the Texas Panhandle. Those will be in the next few hours as we get closer to power hour, the peak heating of the day. You have a mesoschedule session. Looks like they're going to issue a watch moving into Colorado. So again, I think in the next couple hours we'll be watching the Denver area. Yeah, see all these little showers right up on the mountains here. These usually that's what will turn into the storms we'll be watching. So we'll probably be talking about Denver if we get any big storms coming in. I'll come back for live coverage in the Denver area. But right now you see just tiny little baby showers off on the mountains. Those are what we like to watch, like to see. If they roll off, when they get going, they'll roll off the mountains and then they really take off. So we'll have to see if Denver can get any good storms, Denver or Colorado Springs for that matter, can get any good storms today. That hail could be up to ping pong ball size. Asking about Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, you have pretty much switched over to a wind risk. We're getting lots of wind reports, very small hail, probably nickel size and under as we're hitting Harrisburg. This is Harrisburg, Pennsylvania right now. Here's Philadelphia. Everything is heading in that general direction very quickly, so probably winds upwards of 60 miles an hour. Hail, probably at a minimum. It's already a line of storm. All right. Okay, and I'm going to jump back onto the New York City radar. Looks like the hail in most of what people in the city call upstate New York has very little in the way of hail, mostly just wind. And here in Connecticut, the storm that's currently over Thompsonville and Enfield and Windsor Locks looks a lot less organized. It looks like it's starting to fall apart now. Probably some of the effects of the cool ocean waters off Long Island Sound might be killing this thing. So the storm looks like it's starting to wind down pretty quick as we're hitting Interstate 91 on crossing the Connecticut River in central Connecticut. Again, the biggest hail is definitely back into Granby and Simsbury, and then eventually into Suffield, and now since has gone down significantly, much smaller hail. So this will be probably a pretty solid, at least 3-star map already, just from the stuff in New York. So basically everything we have going here, all the storms that happened in New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, will probably be the same exact map available for purchase. So I think, all right, yeah, this thing's really starting to fall apart now, guys. So tornado warning is now lifted, and the storm looks a lot less impressive. This looks really impressive for wind, so I think the threat is switching over to wind for most of the Northeast. So for everybody watching, you're probably going to be more interested in seeing things take off in Colorado. Hopefully in the next 2 to 3 hours, the storms will probably start developing off the Front Range there, and maybe if you cross your fingers, we can get a storm to hit the needle in the haystack that is Amarillo, Lubbock, or the Odessa area. Otherwise, I think I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. I'll come back again if anything happens, say across the Denver area or in Texas. And until then, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Shouldn't have said record-breaking storm potential, huh? So there was, again, big hail across Connecticut, New York. That is available now on hailtrace.com. There's an official name on it. Yeah, I think it's just ny/ct/ma. But you can go and you can follow that there. I hope you have a great rest of your day, guys. I'll talk to you again a little bit later when other storms may get their snows going.